Some houses may appear serene from the outside, but they are emotionally taxing on the inside. Not because of their messiness, but because they cling to far too many things that have been there for too long. Perhaps you have been accustomed to passing a bag that nobody ever opens, used to a cloth-draped chair that is no longer occupied, accustomed to a bookshelf brimming with unread books. However, this might be the right place for you if you have ever had the feeling that you do not even want to remain in your own house. Over the course of the next few minutes, we will go through 9 well-known little spaces, from the living room to the hallway, the kitchen to the closet, the medicine drawer to the balcony, and even a simple drawer where you can start over by making the decision to part with just 5 items. I will not be discussing minimalist secrets or quick cleaning tricks. Cleaning, in my opinion, is not done to make the house look nicer. Cleaning, in my opinion, should be done to make life easier, breathe easier, and treat yourself with kindness. You will not only learn how to clean every area of your house if you stay until the end, but you may also discover that there is a part of your heart that is prepared to be clean. Do you want to try it out? Please remember to subscribe, like, and share this content if you find it useful. We are inspired to continue providing important content by your encouragement. I appreciate you being here. The living room is the first space and the most convenient place to begin. I woke up one morning to find that I had nowhere to sit in my living room anymore. The seats were adorned with teddy animals and throw pillows from my grandchildren's early years. Old newspapers, unopened magazines, and bags that had not been touched in years were stacked on the table. Somewhere beneath 3 layers of filthy cloth was the TV remote control. As I reached for it, I felt a profound sense of weight and bewilderment, in addition to clutter. Once, when the house was still full, I could hear my kids laughing in this room, where my wife and I would relax and enjoy tea. But now, in order to grab a glass of water, I had to carefully navigate the room. Was it ever how you felt? The house is still your home, but strangely it feels tighter than you, tighter than your memories, tighter than your breath. You lose a little more patience, a little more energy, and a little more self-confidence each time you look for anything. Would you believe me if I told you to start with one tiny thing? Avoid cleaning the entire room. Do not rush to complete everything. Do not start out exhausted. Simply select the first 5 items in your living room that you know you do not need. An empty tissue box, a cracked ornament, a magazine from the previous year, a pillow that no one embraces anymore, and a gift that you cannot even recall who gave it. You will not be done cleaning the room when you get rid of those 5 items. However, you will have made room in your heart for a little breathing space. That is what I refer to as the initial breath of this clearing process. The hallway in space 2 is making a secure passage. One day, I stepped out of my bedroom and fell over a laundry basket put directly in the middle of the corridor. I was shocked and lost my equilibrium, but I did not fall. What if it had been a nighttime power outage? I wondered at that point. What if it was someone with already wobbly legs? Although the hallway may appear to be a space, it should be kept clear first. Therefore, it is neither a threat nor a barrier. How many of us live with long extension wires, tangled cords, obstructed baskets, and temporary boxes that we forget to move? You pass through that area multiple times every day, and you aim to maintain your balance each time you dodge by stepping aside. That is not living. That is coping. Give yourself 10 minutes to stroll down the main hallway and take a close look rather than trying to cope. Is there anything that should not be beneath your feet? Is there a folded corner on a rug? Is there a cord you have been walking over for months? If so, can you regain a safe path for yourself by removing 5 things? An old pair of slippers, an extension cord that has not been used, a cardboard box, a bag of random items, and a stool that has been temporarily positioned there. These are hazards, not just things. Additionally, keeping the corridor tidy is not the only goal. It is about taking back your mobility and allowing your feet to wander steadily within your own house. A lighter way of life is achieved with each stride that is easier. Clear it now, if you have ever tripped or almost tripped. The wardrobe is space 3, disposing of items you no longer wear. Every morning I would open my wardrobe and simply stand there. I had too many clothes that no longer fit me, not because I had too little to wear. The blouse I wore on my last day of employment was there. My wife's scarf that she left behind. I never wore a jumper that I received from someone. I kept wishing I could get back into the trousers. Despite the closet's abundance, I did not feel at ease with anything. It was because I was no longer the one who purchased the clothes, not because they were poor. There are moments when you open your closet and find a plethora of options, but none of them seem like you. At that point, you are not short on clothing. You are living inside your history. I am not advocating discarding everything. Just choose 5 things you know you will not wear again. An excessively short shirt, a dress that has faded, trousers with a tight waist, something that merely by looking at it wears you out, and a present that never made you happy. To donate tomorrow, you can carefully put them in a bag and leave it by the entrance. You do not have to wear anything that does not fit your life anymore. When a new day begins, all you have to do is decide what makes you feel more comfortable. Your closet has a little breathing room with each empty hanger. Remind yourself to live in the moment. Less and better, without forgetting anyone or denying anything. Try taking 5 items out of your closet tonight to make tomorrow morning feel lighter, easier, and simpler. The kitchen is room 4. Less things means less tension. For one well-known reason, we keep items in the kitchen that we have not used in years, just in case. A jar of expired spices, a bottle of sauce with only a few drips remaining. On someone's recommendation, we purchased a juicer, once used, then stored. The purpose of the kitchen is to feed us. However, excessive excess turns into a source of stress. You never find what you are looking for when you open a cabinet. You have to move items you do not even use each time you clean the table. At one point, I had 2 identical pots. One that I constantly used. I kept the other one out of guilt. But my life was not made any easier by guilt. I chose 5 things to let go one day: an underused appliance, a chipped glass, a stained storage box, a lidless plastic container, and an ancient spice jar. Allowing them to go made some room on the counter. Cooking was easier for me, and it felt lighter. You do not have to replace everything or give every shelf a thorough cleaning. Simply ask yourself, have I used this in the last 6 months? Would I like to use it once more? Does it make me pleased to see it? Perhaps it is time to let go if the response to all 3 questions is negative. You are making the decision to live a simpler, lighter, and more self-centered life, not because it is too much. The bathroom is the 5th space, and it should be safe, not slippery. A friend of mine fractured his hip bone after slipping on a bar of soap. All it took was one neglected small thing in the bathroom, and his entire year was spent in hospital visits and physiotherapy. Bathrooms are risky, especially for the elderly, when we allow things to pile up. Shampoos that are half empty, bottles of lotion never used, old razors, and expired ointments take up space in our cabinets and windowsills. Once, I looked around my bathroom and realized I had no place left even to keep a new toothbrush. Everything was crowded with things long forgotten. I took a deep breath and told myself, I do not need to tackle the entire bathroom. Just 5 items. I picked up an expired cream, a cracked soap dish, a bottle with no label, a broken comb, and an old sponge that had lost all softness. Just removing them made my bathroom feel safer. The floor looked clearer, the shelf easier to use, the air lighter. Every time you step into your bathroom, remember, you deserve safety and simplicity, a space that allows you to move without fear. Space 6 is the medicine drawer, a place of healing that too often becomes a place of risk. How many of us store medicines for years without checking dates? I once gave myself food poisoning by accidentally taking a tablet that had expired long ago. Medicines can save lives, but expired ones are dangerous. Also, many of us hoard pills for illnesses we no longer suffer. Why carry the weight of old pain? One evening I opened my medicine drawer and forced myself to be strict. I chose 5 items that were not serving me anymore. A bottle of cough syrup expired 2 years ago. A packet of painkillers for back pain that had healed. A box of antibiotics never completed. A tube of cream-dried solid. And vitamins I never remembered to take. Clearing these did not only make space. It gave me peace of mind. Next time I opened that drawer, I knew everything inside was useful, safe, and current. Medicines are meant to heal, not to haunt. If you have not checked your drawer in a while, maybe tonight is the time. The 7th space is the balcony or the little outdoor space. Once meant for fresh air, it easily becomes a dumping ground. Rusty chairs, broken pots, cardboard boxes waiting for disposal, all gather there. I remember standing on my balcony one morning with a cup of tea. Instead of fresh air, I felt closed in by clutter. The view was blocked. The air smelled of damp cardboard. I thought, is this really the place meant to refresh me? That very day, I picked 5 items to clear. A cracked flower pot, a broken chair, a plastic bag filled with things I never opened, a torn shoe left in a corner, and a box too soggy to hold anything. Just removing those gave me back my view of the sky. Suddenly, I could feel the breeze again. Balconies are like lungs of the home. If they are blocked, the house cannot breathe. Take a look at yours today. If it feels heavy, maybe it needs just 5 fewer things. The 8th space is the sentimental corner, the hardest of them all. Maybe it is a drawer of letters, a box of gifts, old photographs, souvenirs, or clothes that belong to someone you love. These are not just objects. They hold memory, emotion, and sometimes pain. I once kept my wife's old shawl folded on a chair for 3 years after she passed away. Every time I saw it, I felt both warmth and sorrow. But as time went on, the sorrow grew heavier than the warmth. One evening I sat by that chair and touched the shawl. I whispered to her, "You are not in this cloth. You are in my heart." With tears, I folded it gently and gave it to my daughter. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means making space for love without heaviness. If you have a sentimental corner, I'm not asking you to throw everything away. Just choose 5 things that carry more pain than joy. Keep the memory alive, but free yourself of the weight. In doing so, you create room for new memories, not by replacing the old, but by allowing your heart to breathe again. The 9th space is the simple drawer, the one we all have, filled with random bits and pieces. Batteries, receipts, pens that do not work, screws from nowhere, keys we cannot remember. The so-called junk drawer. Once I could not find an important bill because it was lost under a mountain of scraps. That night, I pulled open the drawer and faced it bravely. I removed 5 things without hesitation. A pen that would not write, a stack of receipts from 10 years ago, 2 batteries that had leaked, a broken charger, and a key I could not identify. Suddenly, the drawer was no longer junk. It became a useful space again. A simple drawer is symbolic. It shows how much we avoid small decisions until they pile up. But once cleared, it teaches us that not everything has to wait. Some things can be dealt with now. If you want peace in your home, do not underestimate the power of the small drawer. As we move through each of these 9 spaces, from the living room to the hallway, wardrobe, kitchen, bathroom, medicine drawer, balcony, sentimental corner, and the junk drawer, a pattern appears. The pattern is not about cleaning or minimalism. It is about kindness. Each time you remove 5 things that weigh you down, you are not just clearing space in your house. You are opening space in your heart. You are telling yourself, I deserve ease. I deserve safety. I deserve air to breathe. Life is heavy enough. Our homes should not add to that weight. They should be places that help us rest, smile, and feel safe. So tonight, choose one space. Do not rush. Do not overwhelm yourself. Do not aim for perfection. Just 5 items. Maybe an empty box, maybe an expired jar, maybe a piece of clothing you no longer need. Start there. Then notice how your breath feels lighter, how your body feels calmer. And remember, it is not about the 5 things you threw away. It is about the weight you no longer carry inside. If this message has touched you, if you feel even a little more encouraged to care for your home and for yourself, I invite you to continue. Each day, pick one space, one small act of letting go, one little breath of freedom. Step by step, your home will feel lighter, your heart will feel kinder, and your life will feel easier. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share this content so that others may also find peace in their homes. Your support encourages us to bring you more reflections and practices that make life gentler and more meaningful. Thank you for being here, and may your home, no matter how small or large, always be a place where you can breathe with ease.